Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from Calabria, Italy, here's Maskaloonie.
Hello, Jody. How are you?
Maskaloonie.
I'm so glad that I got here. I took
you?
the bus. What a pain in the neck the bus is sometimes, you know. I didn't have the right tokens. I didn't have the exact cash. Thankfully, I had my lunch with me, and I traded with my ham sandwich. He let me go. Anyway, Maskaloonie show. Okay, Maskaloonie they call me. I'm from Italy, Calabria, inland there. And I've been in the United States a long time. And let me explain a little bit what this show is about. This show is about helping people, about passing along things that I've learned over my life. I'm somewhat of a spiritual healer. I don't want to say I'm a spiritual healer, wrote with a degree, this, that, the other thing. More like the School of Hard Knocks. Maskaloonie went through some tremendous things, and I learned quite a bit, and I thought, gee, I wonder if people knew about these things, they could certainly help them. And so this is what the Maskaloonie show is all about, helping people along with their life as best we can, not from Maskaloonie's standpoint, but things I've learned and found that they were true. They're true blue. They work. It's good. Also, we went to malls and streets and different things to ask people what their pet peeve was about certain things in life, you know, certain things that bothered them, that maybe we could shed some light on or talk about a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. And also, I'd like to thank Jody for coming.
You're welcome, Maskaloonie.
Well, thank you, darling. It's very nice. Okay, now we're going to start right out, but I want to share with the folks at home, the first thing is about worry. People worry constantly. Some people are obsessed by it. Every word out of their mouth practically is something negative or whatever. Here's a little thing that I picked up out of a book, a magazine, but I found it to be so helpful. And here we're going to do it. I may stop you just to comment, darling.
Okay.
Go ahead, start to read it. Loudly, clearly. Go ahead.
When you stop worrying, you free the mental and emotional energy you need to live creatively and productively.
Okay. For example, you worry, like you said, you can't focus on what you're trying to do. Life's tough enough without adding worry to the process. If you don't worry, if you don't obsess with it, and you just focus, think how much better you'll be. Go ahead.
Learn how to let go of obsessive thinking patterns. Why do you want to learn how to stop worrying? Because worry destroys the moment, negatively affects your life and mood, and can evolve into obsessive thinking patterns.
Now, for example, people worry all the time. That's all they talk about. Oh, I'm scared of this. I'm scared of that. You make things up that aren't even happening yet, you know? And it like literally destroys your happiness. And, you know, you're on edge and stuff of this nature. You know, if you were always happy, life would be wonderful where you can be. You know, you can make the decision to do that. Obsessive thinking patterns, thank God most people don't have that. But something happens, boom, you're off. You're starting to get mad. 2-3 hours down the road, you're all kinds of goofed up and everything. And then you don't have to do that. You can separate yourself from that very thing. Okay.
This can turn into a psychological disorder, generalized anxiety disorder.
Okay. You know, I want to say something here. You know, like you worry when you're a kid, you worry when you're a young adult, you worry when you're an adult, you worry when your children worry. You know, that's obsessive, you know, and there's so many people like that. Listen, you don't have to be. There's an old thing. Not, again, this is not Maskaloonie saying this stuff. This is stuff I learned. I know it's powerful. Like you're the self with a mind and a body. And you can separate yourself from thought if you like to. It's as simple as that. Like that's what meditation is about. Just sitting quietly and not thinking, but just feeling and resting and breathing. There's tons of ways. There is no wrong way. But once you elongate that feeling, you realize that you can control your thoughts. And then when you think of a thought, if you feed it with emotion, well, it'll start going. But emotions are short-lived. They're like ripples on the water. If you don't feed them with thought, they can't hurt you. An author there, Dr. Wayne Dwyer, one time said he had a very good friend that whenever he thought a bad thing, he would just simply say to himself, nope, next, and go to a thought. Go to a pleasant thought. I got a beautiful family, got a nice car, I love my job, it's nice today, I got a good girlfriend, I got a beautiful wife. All these things, you escape and you get away from that. But it's like, it's like baseball, you got to practice, roll.
Letting go of worry frees your mind and soul. When you stop worrying, you can focus on being creative, productive, and centered.
Very important. Like a lot of the times I go to do something and I'm worried about it and I don't like it and I realize, hey, stop. Let's focus on what you're doing. Let's focus on that. And that's what you do. You know, as humans, we are creatures of habit. And worry is the way it goes. I mean, you watch television, that's all they do is bring stuff that would make anybody worry. And the sad part about it is half of it isn't even true. Go ahead, honey.
Worry fragments the mind, shatters focus, distorts perspective, and destroys inner peace.
Destroys focus, shatters perception. That is so true. And how do you learn how to stop worrying? Simple. Like heavy suitcases. You just let it go. Like coals in your hand, hot coals. You just let it go. And again, you work at it. Just change the way you think and move forward. And you'll find that your life is really wonderful. You can change it for the better. Self-defeating negative thoughts, get rid of them and replace it with self-fulfilling positive thoughts. Again, at every waking moment. Continue.
Worry is self-inflicted distress. It has no consistent practical outcome.
I like that. Self-inflicted distress. You do it yourself. Hello? You know, I mean, again, you think it's easy. It's not. We're victims of our own mind. And our mind needs problems to run you. But remember, you are not the mind. You are, you know, I'll do a quick thing here. Just a quick thing. Like, sit quietly, put your hands down by your side, and close your eyes. Close your eyes for a minute. Now breathe in deeply. And let it out. Breathe in again. And let it out. Then count from 5 to 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Continue to breathe just like I said now. Can you feel the tingling in your fingers a little bit? Or feel the tingling in your toes? Try to feel that. Feel it for a minute. Try to feel your heart beating for a minute, if you could. Feel it. Okay. Now, for example, during that time, for those of you who could feel it, you're not thinking, you're feeling. That is how you meditate. You take yourself and separate from your mind. Quietly, passively, and you become grounded. You don't realize it until after a little while, something will happen. You go, wow, I really handled that well. I mean, it's just a process. Give it a chance. What the hell you got to lose? Go ahead.
That's it. What I got.
That's it?
That's what I got.
Very good. I should throw a joke in here, but I don't have one. I don't know. Mr. Time is our cameraman and also WVVC. Mr. Time, how much time has gone by?
Maskaloonie, 8 minutes and 8 seconds.
Wow, time flies when you're having fun. All right, let's do, now this is where we talked to people on the street, and we went to the malls, and if this show continues, we may do another show, we may not, depends on how it goes. But anyway, I talked to these people to ask them, what's your pet peeve? What would you like to see change a little bit in America so that we could move forward in an amicable, happy, compassionate, understanding way in life? I mean, we need this. All America must stick together during this times because we don't know what to believe on television. We don't know what's being said. We don't know. They got us scared to death like the old days. They got to try, but that's not it. Just pay attention, see what happens. The economy's pretty good. There's a lot going on, but this is a wonderful country. We want to help keep it that way. So that's another reason I want to try to get involved and do my part maybe. Okay, let's see. What's the first thing?
The passing lane.
Who told me about that?
Marilyn Smith from Vernon, New York.
Marilyn did. Yes, I love her. She was so, yes, thank you there, Mr. Time. Appreciate it so much. Now, this was just a crude kind of prop that I just threw together quick because I'm not very good at being an artist. But you know, nothing's worse than people staying out in the passing lane. When they're going out there, they're going 45 miles an hour and a 55 mile an hour, and they're just tying up traffic. For example, this Commercial Drive in New Hartford is a good example of it. And I'll continue with it. But really where it's unbelievable is the thruway. You would think, does anyone know how to drive? You start to think. I mean, there isn't a day you get in the car where you don't want to rip somebody up. But you know what? When that happens, no rage. Let it go. Let it go. You know, that ain't going to help anything. What we want is try to bring to light what the problem is. For example, you got a tractor trailer there, and this is not a non-passing lane. This is a 2-lane road. Now, this car here is just staying right there. So now, this car can't get by. And this car isn't even going the speed limit. So he's backed up. And it starts to make tempers flare. People get pissed off because they're on their way to work, they're on their way somewhere, blah, blah, blah. Now this guy, he's doing the same thing. So this guy has to pass illegally. I believe it's illegal to pass on the inside, isn't it, Mr. Time?
Yes, it is, Maskaloonie.
Yes. And so, but it's done every day because we're not going to sit there and go behind. You know, it kills me. A lot of people just don't think about it. Well, Charlie in Commercial Drive, I don't want to. Charlie, who the hell is that? Maskaloonie, I don't want to have to miss my turn to the left. You'll take that out right now. I don't want to have to miss my turn to the left. Well, know where you're going. That would help. Not that I'm trying to say anybody's bad. Let's try to clear that up, especially on the thruway. Because people come down zooming 70 miles an hour. You're going 55 miles an hour. They want to zoom inside. It causes accidents. We don't want that. Again, if you're in the passing lane, either move up, pull over, or put your signal on. Know where you're going ahead of time so you're not tying it up forever. Because sometimes on the thruway, traffic can go back a half a mile. And so many people are pissed off. We don't need that. So, again, if you're in the passing lane, move over if you're not going anywhere. Or go past. Go past. And then if someone's behind you, move over so that they can go by. Don't make people do that. I think we'll be a lot happier on the road. Do you think I covered that all right, Mr. Time? Did I do that okay?
I think you did.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. What's next, Dolly?
We have Scratch Off. Casino at the Nice and Easy.
Ah, don't you dig that? You go in to get a coffee, there's a line 5 miles long. They call it fast track or whatever. Nothing fast about it. You walk in there, you got some guy playing 777s and grandma shorts, and give me 4 of those bingo bongo, and give me 3 of the lucky stars, and you know, there's a casino out there. I mean, you know, if you're going to do that sort of thing, why tie up the line for an hour? Wait till somebody's not there. I mean, you say, who the hell are you to tell me that? You're right. But people are on their way to work. That's why they call it fast track. They want to get in there. You know what I mean? Then when you're all done buying the tickets, you got a stack this big you want to cash in. And you know what's really funny? Nobody ever wins. Oh, I won. Oh, did you? Add it all up. This side, this side. Then tell me if you won. Not that I know anything, but that would make people a lot happier. You know, buy them sometimes else. Or just think about that. Say, you know, here, you want a coffee, go ahead of me or something like that. This aggravates the bananas out of people. A lot of times what I do, when I go in there, there's a minor, I just walk up with $2, I lay it down for my coffee, and I tell them, keep the change. You know, put it in your change thing. I don't ever wait. Are you kidding me? I go nuts. I'm not that I'm in a big hurry, but that would help a lot. Maybe I don't know. You think that's good or no?
I think that's good.
You do? Thank you, Joe. Very nice. All right, continue.
Litter and cigarette butts.
Ah! Who'd that come from?
Taylor.
Taylor's from Oneida. Yes, I remember Taylor. He was in tears because his dad was in Normandy. And his dad got off one of the transports that would bring the soldiers to the beach. And his dad was chopped in half by a machine gun. And many, many, many soldiers died. I got to be honest, I don't know if I'd have the wherewithals it would take to go and fight the enemy against guys with machine guns and hand grenades. I mean, those guys went out and risked their lives like that for our country because they loved our country. And there's so many people today who love our country, but we're helpless to do much about it. However, people will flick their ashes out the window as they're driving. Flick them out. Or take the cigarette butt and throw it out right on the ground. Not even putting it out. Just flick it right out there. We live in a state that's usually pretty wet all the time, and it's hard for it to, but in other places, hundreds of thousands of acres have burned to the ground for that very reason. And America is not an ashtray. Take your cigarette butt and put it in the ashtray, and then clean it later. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying that's how it should be. If you love America, do you love America? I love America. America's not a... You know, how many times I want to throw a piece of tissue out or blow my schnoz and say, geez, I'll throw this out. I'm not... I say no. I got a little bag in the car. I put it in there when I'm not taking the bus. Otherwise, I use the bus driver's trash, but he don't dig it because he wears a mask. He thinks I got COVID. He just said I had to blow my nose. I'm only going to do. But anyway, so the important thing is don't do this. It hurts other people. Like I want to blow the horn or pull up and say, hey, why are you littering America? America's not an ashtray. Don't you love your country? Why are you throwing trash and stuff like that? Why do that? Don't do that. Put it in the ashtray. Would you sit home and smoke a cigarette and flick it on the floor for your kid to crawl over and everything else? It's just not right. It's not right. If you love America, most people don't think. But I think if they did, they wouldn't do it. Anyway, Taylor from Oneida, I wanted to say that for you. And your dad, I just can't imagine what you had to go through your whole life because of that. But anyway, let's talk about tailgating a little bit. Do not tailgate. People right up on your ass, right up on your ass, about 1.5 feet from your car at 60 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, trying to push you. That happens when you block the passing lane. And then sometimes older people just panic and step on the brake. Then you almost hit them. Now you're even more pissed off. But that's not going to happen, road rage. You got to stop it. Every year, many people, Mr. Time, right, die in road rage things. Many people. It's too bad, but yes, that's true. So don't do that. You're supposed to be, for every 10 miles, you're supposed to be a car length, which is, some people think that's ludicrous. Maybe that's true. But give the guy in front some room. If you can't pass him, have a little patience. Everybody gets mad. I wish I had a dime for every time I wanted to say, why you stupid blah, blah, blah. But more and more, again, it's just my own aggravation about life at times, and I want to try to be a better person. So it's just, hey, calm down. Just relax. Where are you racing off to? Oh, home to eat a sandwich? Go buy a pack of gum somewhere? Don't, just relax. Hi, everybody. Maskaloonie here. And, I want to tell a little story, a cute little story that I ran across. I think it's kind of seasonal, maybe. But I'd like to talk about it now, if I could. Mr. Time, thank you. I'm going to tell right off, I want to tell this story. There was a shoemaker. He was an older shoemaker. His name was Giuseppe. He was married to Angelina. And they lived in Calabria. And he was a shoemaker. And they fell on hard times. They lived in the lower mountain area. I mean, they had a garden and they had food and stuff, but money was tight. And Giuseppe, he didn't know what to do. He was a shoemaker, but he didn't have any materials because he couldn't buy any materials to make shoes. They made shoes with cloth in those days. So Angelina said, don't you worry. Let's say our prayers and not to worry. So one day he decided, let's see how much money we got here at the house and this and that. And let's see if we can't get some materials so I can make some shoes, Angelina. He said, okay. And they looked in every nook and cranny in the house, and they came up with a little bit of money. So off he went, Giuseppe, to the market and bought himself some cloth and stuff to make shoes with. Unfortunately, he only had enough money to make one pair of shoes, so he traveled all day to the city and came all the way back. And when he came home, he was exhausted. Giuseppe was a little older. But not so old. But anyway, he was tired. He says, Angelina, I'm going to put the stuff on the table, and I'll start to make the shoes in the morning. And he and Angelina were very much in love. And they sat down, they had a wonderful, simple dinner. They had a garden, they had some fish. They loved one another, and they had a wonderful life, really. Just no money. So that night, they went to bed, happy and healthy. In the middle of the night, Giuseppe heard a tap, tap, tapping. He said, what the heck is this? So he goes to the door and he peeks around. He sees 4 little elves making a pair of shoes. Well, he was flabbergasted by that. He couldn't know what to think. So he went back to bed and he came up. And in the morning, there was a beautiful pair of shoes. Exemplary work. Beautiful pair of shoes. Well, when the merchants saw that pair of shoes, they were astonished, and they paid a very good price for those shoes. So Giuseppe took the money and went down to the market again and came back up, and he had enough cloth to make some more shoes. So he put them on the table. It was a long trip. He and Angelina had a nice talk and a nice dinner, and he went to bed. Again, he heard the tap, tap, tapping. He went around, and sure enough, there were the 4 elves right there making shoes. So he went back to bed. He got up in the morning, there were 3 pair of the most gorgeous shoes you will ever see. So, needless to say, the merchant came and took them at a very good price, and they were kind of out of debt and in good shape. So, Giuseppe said to Angelina, I want to do something nice for the elves. So he made them little tiny shoes with the leftover cloth that he had, and also little clothes, and he put them on the table. And the next morning they were gone. And he never saw the elves again, which I thought was a wonderful story. And Maskaloonie one time had the elves help him. I had a big dinner to make. I was scared to make it. I wasn't a cook, and I had no idea about elves. I never knew about elves. So what happened was I had a bunch of food, but I didn't know how to do it. And I said, you know what, I'm going to bed. I woke up and I heard some noise in the kitchen. But you know what? I was tired. I just felt like I should go to sleep. So I did. And when I got up in the morning, there was the most gorgeous meal laying on the table. They had the brajol, and they had the pizza frite, and they had the ravioli, and they had made everything. And I saw the elves scurrying away when I got up in the morning. I said, wow, the elves are helping me just like they did Giuseppe. And you know, I didn't know what to get them, but I heard elves like candy. So I got him a big thing of Bavarian chocolate candy and a bunch of candy canes. The next morning they were gone. Maskaloonie never saw the elves again. So, you know, you got to keep your hope and faith up and keep love in your heart, because maybe someday the elves will come and help you at your house. Well, I'm Maskaloonie, and I hope you enjoyed my little story. What's the next, Dolly Head?
The bingo song.
Oh my God. Mr. Time, you got to stop looking so enthused, Mr. Time, because I'm getting a little bit. Anyway, make sure you put that in too there. I'm breaking them, of course. You're always so wonderful.
No, you're so wonderful.
Oh, no. You're so wonderful.
No, really, you're so wonderful.
You are Maskaloonie.
Wow. Heavy stuff. I love to hear that name. I don't know why I love that name. Maskaloonie, you know, Maskaloonie, you know. No. Anyway, I forgot what it is. Oh, what were we talking about?
Bingo.
Bingo. Last thing. How much time, Mr. Time?
19 minutes and 50 seconds has elapsed.
No. See when you're having fun? Anyway, bingo. Not many people realize that Maskaloonie is a national bingo champion. I have won many jackpots. I'm very good at bingo. Don't ask me why. Well, first of all, if you play bingo, you know that sitting where you sit is everything. I mean, there's just something about you walking, and I'm not lucky here. I'm sitting here. And then what happens, you play in a bingo in a big crowd, there is nothing worse. You ever play bingo?
I have.
Yes. Have you ever played bingo?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing worse than a 4-number bingo. You know, you got the B in the I. They call 4 numbers, B-I-N-G. Somebody goes, bingo, bingo! Everybody goes, fun knob. So anyway, the only thing worse than a 4-number bingo is a 5-number bingo. And you got the B in the I, and the one they called was the G, and you would have been waiting. But no. Anyway, bingo, as you know out there, is a very wonderful thing. It's a lot of fun, you know. It's gambling. You don't really win. So bingo is truly a wonderful thing. You know, as a matter of fact, I wrote a bingo song. I did. Should I sing the bingo song for the folks? I should?
Yes.
You think so? Here we go. Oh, how happy bingo makes me. Oh, how happy bingo makes me be. Oh, how happy bingo makes me. Playing bingo with Tony and Marie. And in the morning when I wake up, I think of bingo, my bingo sets me free. And in the morning when I wake up, I think of bingo, it's all the world to me. My bingo sets me free. The bingo song. Okay. Pure gold there. Pure gold there. So that's the bingo song. I love that song very much. It just for some reason I like it. I hope you do too. It doesn't really matter if you do or don't, but I love bingo. I'm a champion. Go ahead.
Our government today.
Yes, you know, I'm telling you, if it wasn't for good news or bad news, we wouldn't have any shows. So, you know, these people, as we all know, the media, makes up so much stuff you don't even know what's true anymore. They say this, they say that. This one says this one, this says that one, and then they want to sell a book. Well, the important thing I think to keep in mind is don't listen to anything. Just look around you. If people are happy and healthy and the bottom line for business is pretty good, despite some things that have happened and have not happened, I wouldn't really waste too much time worrying about it. Because a lot of people see it and then they bring it up all day with their friends and they talk about it. I mean, how do you even know anymore? You know, back in my day, Maskaloonie's up there in years a little bit, they had us scared to death of Russia. It was, what'd they call it? Red. What'd they call it? Red. Well, they call it communism, the red was something red. Well, they had red the thing with the sickles, and they had to scare the dead. They couldn't shoot a potato gun at that time, you know. But they made it. Man, they were going to rule the world, and that's the same thing they're doing right now. Again, stay together as human beings. Stay happy, healthy. Try to change which is negative. Try to make it a positive, and enjoy your life because it's short enough as it is, isn't it? All right, what's next?
Lying media, people power, and misinformation.
Yeah, don't be dragged in by the misinformation. You got to understand how many talk shows are out there. How many? If they don't have subject matter, they got no show. You know, gee, we got nothing tonight. Well, let's talk about the kid with the apple with the razor in it. You know, they just come up with anything they want, you know. They don't say anything good because no one wants to hear. Oh, 13. You know what? The one thing I like, they show the Taliban, supposed to be really bad killers, brought down towers and horrible people. And they got pictures of them posing with guns, you know, and then their beards, and they're all laughing and talking. How do you get pictures of enemies who are that bad? Where did you get it? Would you go to the golf tournament there and take pictures of these people? I mean, these are the enemies? They're not. You can't buy that stuff. Anyway, who cares? Scrutinize what you hear. You know, my grandma used to say, believe nothing of what you hear and only half of what you see. That's wisdom in itself. What's next?
Compassion and understanding.
That's what we need in this world. More compassion, more understanding, more love, more caring. You know, it's hard to love somebody when you hate them. But you know what? That's the answer. Not that I'm, again, a Bible belt. Jesus says love is the answer. And how true is that? How happy are you when you are truly in love with someone? Like a girlfriend or a wife, or, you know, like that. It's a wonderful thing. Love's a wonderful thing. Emotions are a wonderful thing. But
You know what else Jesus said?
What?
Jesus said to love your enemies.
He did. It's tough to love your enemies, especially when they stink and don't take a bath. But you know, that's where it starts, you know. You know, most people only like who they want to like. But you don't have to like anybody, but you can be compassionate, understanding. You know, like St. Jude's Hospital, they run on love and compassion. People are wonderful. We have firsthand information here locally with people who have. You know, this is good. You know, this is what you want to try to do. And they try to help pets, and they try to, that's a wonderful thing. We need more of that in our country. How much time there, Mr. Time?
26 minutes and 14 seconds.
We got about a minute?
About a minute.
All right, what's next? One more.
I'm not sure how to put this, but dog excrement?
You mean dog crap. Yeah, you're supposed to pick up after your dog. If I had to do that, I wouldn't do it. I got to be honest with you. But I see people bend over, pick up 2 pounds of turds. I can't believe it. But you got to love them. But then there's people that just let your dog go wherever you want in front of people's buildings, ruin. You know, you can't do that. You let them pee all over. But every town should have a dog park, and that would eliminate all this baloney. You know, not for nothing, but so many people do, and I admire that. I personally, I look at them and go, wow, you got to really love your dog to do that sort of thing. Anyway, that's about it. Jody, thank you for helping Maskaloonie. Well, thank you for coming. You're very nice. Mr. Time, thank you. And I believe I'll say goodbye. And I hope I haven't offended anyone. And if I did, too bad. I just want things to be good in our country. And I want our country to be great and wonderful. Like Mr. Trump said, you know, he wanted it. He did a pretty good job, I think. But what do I know? I'm just Maskaloonie, and I am your servant. See you next time, maybe. Thank you very much. I am Maskaloonie, and I am